It's Throwback Thursday. It surely is. And this is MLB 12, the show. Hard to believe something from 2012 could be called a throwback, but if you remember my rule way back, long time ago, this is episode 117, I believe. Was it 118? Somewhere up there. I'm not looking at it right now. But we're talking about over 2 years of Throwback Thursdays. So my rule back in the day was that the game had to be at least 2 years old before I would call it a throwback. So we're 2016. This game came out 4 years ago. So I would say that yes, it is a throwback. And by my estimation, or by my definition. So similar, some of the same basic throwback jerseys they had before. I may have a couple different ones here, but we're gonna go ahead and go with it. Let's go. Cubs against the Rangers. Oh my God. This was not a good Cubs team by any stretch. This was a Cubs team preparing for what they are now, just letting it just fall apart to become a good team. Derek Holland was the ace for the Rangers, which didn't seem like much, but this Rangers team was good. If you don't remember, this is coming off the Rangers team that went to the World Series against the St. Louis Cardinals, I believe. And let's go, baby. They had Ian Kinsler, Elvis Andrus, Josh Hamilton, Adrian Beltre, Nelson Cruz, Mike Napoli, David Murphy, Mitch Moreland, and the Cubs, oh my God, it wasn't too great. David DeJesus, Starlin Castro, Marlon Byrd, Brian LaHair was a cleanup hitter, Alfonso Soriano, Giovanni Soto, Ian Stewart. Just think about what we were just looking at.
Stay tuned for
none of those guys are still on the Cubs roster anymore. That's something, right? Now this is PlayStation 3, guys. So if you look at this graphically,
when you think of afternoon
this
baseball,
looks pretty good, and
place,
it doesn't look
Wrigley
that
Field
much different than PlayStation 4. It's sharper. PlayStation 4 is obviously much sharper. That's the just the power of the machine itself.
Rangers taking
but
on the Chicago Cubs.
What I think
again,
is a thing with PlayStation, not with PlayStation, with MLB The Show is, I don't know how much of a large leap we're going to see from a graphic standpoint when it comes to player models. Now, I think we've already seen huge strides when it
work against a tough assignment,
environment-wise, stadiums, all that lighting and all that kind of stuff. It looks phenomenal, right? And I think it looks way better than this looked, from in that standpoint. And this looked good. Just look at it. It looked pretty. It still looked good. But as far as the player models, I don't think we're gonna see that big a jump. And here's the reason why. This is like an example of it being, and I mentioned this on my live stream earlier today, but this is an example of a double-edged sword. We all love, almost to a person, the carryover saves. We love it. It's the greatest thing. To me, I think it's the most underrated new feature in any sports video game. But the thing about that is, and this is something that I wonder, I can't say that I know, I wonder if, since they're going to allow us to bring over our saves, which essentially is bringing over the roster set from what we had in previous years, if that's the case, then is there something that says the character models themselves can't change that much because they have to somewhat match from year to year? So if that is the case, assuming I'm right, because I could be wrong, and I'm hoping maybe someone from Sony can chime in. I can ask some people and see how that works out. But I don't know if that's the case or not. So that's truly a double-edged sword, because here we are looking at MLB 12, the show, and it looks really, really good. And not very much different. Look at the animation. Animation-wise, this is excellent. This is. If this game came out right now, and
1-1
it
offering on
looked
its
the
way
way
to
this
Ginsburg.
looks. I mean, you have a
Now
couple
a swing
people
and a miss, and
saying,
he's behind 1-2.
yeah, or whatever, but for the most part, I don't think you have that much complaint about graphics because it looks very good. You know, so I'm just wondering if
Off to a good start here as he gets
that's
him with the
something.
fastball.
I'm
I
wondering
know it
how
sounds obvious, but that's going to be an important
they're gonna
hit
have.
for him.
If they may
How's he
already
gonna
have
be
the
able to
technology
locate
built
it
in
going forward?
that
That'll be
is
something
able
to
to
watch as this
scale
game
the
progresses.
graphics up,
Here it
but
comes.
perhaps this is the case. Perhaps Elvis Andrus
And he
just
takes
took
a
me
big
deep
swing
on a
at that
hanging
one as this
slider.
one's lifted high in
Perhaps
the air
that
and
happened.
deep out
That
to
did
left
just
field.
happen.
Deep at
Yeah.
the wall. Forget it. It's gone. A home run.
Ron Washington is very happy about it.
How about that?
I hung that one up there and said, "Slap it."
Elvis Andrus. As the
Oh,
Rangers
hair
strike
got
first,
better.
It's
You
1-0.
can definitely say that. Hair's absolutely got better because that little matted down rug that was on the top of Matt Garza's head was not indicative of real hair. Josh Hamilton's coming up.
Will stand in. The left field
So
starter
you know what I'm
on
saying?
last year's
I don't know.
AL
The
All-Star team.
technology might already be. Oh
Now
my!
a swing and a
Get
ground
over
ball
to
back up
your
the middle.
right. What a
Throwing
play
time at first
by
for
Darwin
number 2.
Barney. But yeah, I mean, this is like
Adrian Beltre
seamless,
will
man.
dig in now.
And some people
Named the
say,
starter
hey,
at
you know,
third
some
base
people
for
will
last
attack
season's
on this. I
American
like
League
that
All-Star
lifetime
squad.
thing there. They don't do that anymore.
Foul
Show the
back.
lifetime statistics against a guy, one guy against the other. And I also wish that they had that built into the game where, you know, if you have history
And he'll
of
just fight
hitting a
this
guy
one off
well,
as it's chopped
then, you know,
foul.
you kind of get a little bit of a boost when you're facing that guy. I think that would be pretty awesome. But
Ball
you know, that's going
swung
to be
on
interesting.
and hit high
I
down
don't
the
know
line in
how that's
left,
going to work,
but it'll
whether or
get
not
back
that's a
in
thing
among
or
the
not,
crowd,
whether or not
so the
they'll
count holds
have
at
to, or they're
0-2.
already working on building in the technology to have it where the scale, an upscale
Swing and
on
a
the
miss as the
graphics
slider sets him down for the
will still
final
match
out of
up with the
inning.
carryover save aspect. But I think I
the
feel
Rangers are
fairly
in the run
positive in
column
saying
first on the strength of this
carryover
solo
saves
home
almost
run.
ensure, and
On to
I
the bottom of the
could be
first
wrong,
here at
and I
Wrigley.
totally
It's
leave
now
room for
1-0
this.
Texas.
I think it slows down
A look there at
the
the starting
drastic
lineup for the
jump
Cubs now.
that you can see from a player model standpoint.
David
Now, the
DeJesus
good thing about
will
that
step in now to
is
lead
that
things off in the
it
home half
already
of the
looks
first.
really good. So now I do.
First
Ooh,
pitch fastball swung
that
on
looks
and
good.
missed 0-1.
That looks good. I'm telling you,
Just
that looks good.
overmatched him there.
Look at the animation of the practice swing, and this is PlayStation 3, y'all. I already think that,
this
you
is
know,
fouled
I do.
back
I mean,
and
I
out
said
of
it looks
play.
good because it does, but I would be lying if I said that it's. I still think it's a
Fastball
little
swung on,
bit
missed for the
behind
first out.
on a character, on a player model standpoint when you relate
You
it,
think
when
he
you
was
compare
fired
it
up to get
obviously
started
to
in this
something
game?
like
3
EA Sports
pitches,
UFC 2.
fastball,
EA Sports UFC
fastball,
2
and
is absolutely, these
fastball.
much
See
better
you later.
batting stances now too, because that's not a good start. That's not a good start on
Starlin
Castro batting
Castro
stance.
stands
But,
in as he checks his swing here for strike one.
EA Sports UFC 2, in my opinion, is the
The
best
pitch.
looking sports video game ever created.
Sticks with the fastball here as he
Just
forges
from a
ahead
pure visual
0-2.
standpoint. You know,
Nothing but
we can
strikes
talk.
to
People
start
can
the afternoon
talk
so
about
far.
unrealistic unrealistic gameplay and stuff like that. But from a pure, oh my
Swing and a
God,
miss
I
at the
cannot hit
curveball,
this
and
guy.
there's your second
From a
out of the
pure
inning.
visual standpoint, it's beautiful.
Can't ask for
NBA
much
2K
more to
looks really
start the
good, but
whole
I'm going
half
to be
of the
honest.
first. He's
I
only
think
thrown
second
6
place
pitches, yet he's
in the
already got 2
visual aspect
strikeouts.
when we talking about
Talk about
sports
efficiency.
video games, I think it might go to Madden now. I think Madden
Marlon Byrd
visually
is in with 2 away
looks
now as he looks
excellent,
at a
and this was a
called
really
strike
good
one.
version of
Yeah,
Madden
he
this
starts him
year
out with a nice
too. So
breaking
it's
ball there.
it's right up there. But
It's all about
overall,
putting a guy back
you
on his
know,
heels to begin
and I didn't
the
mean to turn
at-bat.
this into a sports
Gets
video
the
game
fastball
award
by him here, and he's in
video.
control
But overall,
of
NBA
0-2.
2K is still
He
the
might have
best
thought he'd be
overall
getting
sports
another
video
dose of
game
that
because of
curveball
just
because
everything that it
he was
offers.
way behind that one.
But I think the show is next
Swinging a ball bounced
because
back
despite
up
the
the
fact
middle,
that the graphics
and
might
that'll
be a
get
little
through
bit
into
behind
center
everything
field
that
for
it
a base
offers
hit.
and the gameplay. I mean, even right now, if they had the gameplay right here from MLB 2012, and this, and we, you know, had never seen any of the progressions that they made, this would still be the best gameplay of any sports game. That's just how much the show, in my opinion, has nailed
So a
their
runner at
sport.
first with 2
I mean,
away,
they've
and
nailed
set
their
to
sport.
stand in as the
Just
first
completely
baseman,
nailed it.
Brian Lahair.
And all they've really done year over year is just polish up
Fastball that gets
what
the inside
is already
quarter, strike one.
an amazing gameplay engine. That's really what they've done. So a lot of times I think when people are like, it's the same game, it's the same that. Well, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. Baseball is still baseball. And if you got a game that is already
Here's a swing and a ground ball.
pretty much got all of the most important aspects of baseball mastered, you don't really want to mess too much with that. You wanna tinker and polish. You don't want to rework. And I think that's just the thing about sports video games, because sports video games emulate a real life thing. Look at Brian LaHair. You have to keep that in the other games don't have a real life frame of reference. You know what I'm saying? That people can just draw, that droves of people can compare it to. Yeah, people have seen a bunch of war movies and they may even know somebody who's been in combat, but they don't have, for the most part, as an example that they can draw a direct reference to as much as they can if they're playing Call of Duty. Or, that people that play first-person shooters like that, they don't. Most 95% of the people who play those games don't have that direct frame of reference like people who play sports games, because you're playing the MLB The Show, and 9 times out of 10 you're a huge baseball fan too. So you've watched thousands of baseball games or hundreds of baseball games in your life, so you have that frame of reference. So there's a responsibility to keep it close to what you're used to, which means that it kind of stagnates how much innovation can really be put into a sports game without now messing with the context of the sport itself, if that makes any sense. So that's just me going off on a rant. I don't even know where that came from. This is Throwback Thursday, not Soliloquy Saturday, but I just gave you one. Anyway, Matt Garza struggling to find the plate right now. Oh, broken bat by Napoli. All right, get your new bat. But yeah, I mean, there's some visual differences here, but not drastic. Just a really, and I don't think that's, some people might say that that's a insult, but I don't look at it that way. I look at it more as a,
Swing and a ball hit fairly well.
Go back there and get it. You can get it. You can get it if you run. Oh, there we go. He had a long way to go. That one just got up there and just stayed. Ran it down. Matt Garza got a little lucky there. David Murphy up. We're going to do one more bat because we didn't get a chance to see Soriano. We'll let Soriano take a swing.
The 1-0 pitch.
But yes, I got some more MLB The Show coverage coming up for obviously MLB 16. I was kind of tossing it back and forth with Junior today about my franchise mode series. What exactly and what series am I gonna, how I'm gonna handle that series? I said it's gonna be called North-South because I'm gonna play for the White Sox and the Cubs in the same franchise mode instead of doing the 2 different ones like I did before, because I just don't think that's realistic for me to finish and all that sort of thing. And I really, really would like to. I'm not even going to try to say I'm going to finish in the body of the season or whatever, because I like to play all the games because I like the stats to be real, right? I'm not even going to say that, but what I do want to at least say is that I'm going to be playing throughout the whole thing. So I want to stay consistent. Obviously, as we get into September and, that kind of, August, I should say, first and foremost. Obviously, as we get into August, Madden, stuff like that's going to take take precedence because that's the newer game. And people, a lot of people are going to want to see Madden. Then in September, you're going to have the people late September, you're going to have to see people that want to see NBA 2K. Show them a little bit of hockey and a little bit of FIFA, but I, generally don't do series on those. Play a couple games here and there. I don't know what I'll do this year, but, I'll leave it open. But, Giovanni get buzzy off the wall, baby. Run, Gio. Woo. In there for a double. Could have been a stand-up, though. He just decided to slide just because he wanted to.
Pretty good job of playing this thing off the wall.
Oh, goes the other way.
This thing hits right off the base of the wall out there.
So, yeah, I know that. I know I'm going to do the North-South series with the Cubs and the White Sox. Alistair Dillon is still going to be around. I created a Road to the Show guy
So a
on
runner second with
my
one
live
down
stream
now.
today.
And that'll bring up
And
the third baseman,
what I'm
Ian
going to
Stewart.
do with that live stream is Ian Stewart.
started to go down
I'm
after
going to
it. He
cut
couldn't
that
hold
video
back.
up
It's
and
strike
put it out
one.
as separate
Runner
videos,
second
just
here
the
with one
sections
man out.
for people who maybe don't want to sit through the entire live stream because it's 2 hours.
And there's the swing
You know,
and
so
miss
I
from
showed
Stewart.
all
No
the
balls and 2
equipment,
strikes
and
now.
I
Great
created
location on 0-1.
I created my guy, my
Can't get hurt
Road
with
to the
a
Show
pitch out there.
position player. That may be all I really did that I will take out of the live streams. I'll probably take those 2 components out. I played some gameplay
gets a
too,
piece of
obviously.
this one to foul
A
it
little
toward
bit
the backstop.
at Great American Ballpark. I did a little bit at City Field. I also did a little bit at PNC Field. I showed all of the
Inside as he might be
hairstyles,
trying to set him up here,
you know,
1 and
which
2.
really isn't new, so I'm not gonna really cut that component out and put that out. But yeah, I'm gonna cut that up.
Just
So
did get a piece of that
I'm
one,
gonna do
so
a
he
little bit of
stays
Diamond
alive.
Dynasty this year too. I don't know how long I'm gonna stick with that because I gotta see, you know, how I feel about it and how it's flowing. Also, I'm planning to touch on Battle Royale is how they pronounce it.
And this is swung
Ian
on and
Stewart
missed.
sits.
4 strikeouts
And then also a
already,
little
and
bit of
that's
that
out number
conquest
2.
mode, but the servers aren't up for the game just
Darwin
yet.
Barney
Darwin Barney
will be
was
the
a
batter.
really bad hitter. He can field, but he couldn't hit his way out of a paper bag, y'all. But look at him go the other way with a little bit of
Pretty
pop,
well and
but
carrying
not
to deep right.
in.
Cruz will get
So
under
yeah,
it, though, and
that's
puts it
my
away
plan.
to retire
So
the side.
this was cool.
One left for the Cubs.
There's been a lot of
They
baseball
still
today.
trail 1-0.
But I appreciate you watching this episode of Throwback Thursday as usual. It's a little bit late, but I've been grinding. Legends roster 2 for the NBA 2K. I'm still
Mitch Moreland
putting that together.
ready to go here
April
as we begin
1st.
the third.
April 1st. I'm grinding hard. I might have to stay up all night on March 31st to hit my deadline, but I'm doing it. So I appreciate y'all watching, man. God bless.